Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Permission to Live in the End. And I'm continuing what I'll call my little mini series on do nothing to have everything. I'm talking to my manifesting community. I'm talking to the law of attraction community, the law of assumption community. And I shared a video yesterday where I started with what I was noticing in this community where I've seen, let's just say, just as many people continuing to effort at what they're doing, which I felt was odd. So I wanted to talk about do nothing to have everything. And what exactly does this mean, do nothing? And yesterday, I just kept saying it over and over again, and I'll continue to say it today. Do nothing, go into the state of being. Go into the state of being as if your desires are already fulfilled. Then do nothing. You're doing something by being inside of the state of being of your desire already being fulfilled. Do nothing. Do nothing but go into the state of being as if your desires have already been fulfilled. So whatever your particular desire is, go into that state of being. As Neville Goddard instructs, he says, choose an event that would imply that your desire, whatever desire you have, has already been fulfilled. But choose one event because it's easier on the mind to choose an event that implies it has already been done, whatever that desire is. And do nothing of yourself. And I'll continue to talk about that as I'm continuing this little mini series. And today I wanted to shed light on the fact that do nothing part, you're already doing it. You're already doing the do nothing part, but as it relates to the desires that you're already fulfilling in your current state of being, you are already doing nothing as it relates to your desires or as it relates to those things that are in the forefront of your mind that have been being developed since you were a child, since before you were a child. But let me back up and read something from Neville today that a young lady shared in my Feel It Real Mastermind. She shared a video, and when these words jumped out, I had to share it today. Neville is saying, you want something. And the thing that will fertilize it is your own wonderful human imagination. When you know exactly what you want, which is a key, occupy it. I'm going to read that again. When you know exactly what you want, occupy it. I find one of the great fallacies of the world is perpetual construction, deferred occupancy. Perpetual construction, deferred occupancy. Perpetual wanting, perpetual starting, and never going into the state. That's what he's saying. We know what we want, but we leave it out there and hope that the passing of time will make it. It won't do it. I have to occupy it and make there here. I make then now and dwell in it just as though it were true. I mean, that's deep. That's really deep. But I want to talk about, because I'm titling this is part 2 of Do Nothing to Have Everything. And I wanted to zoom in on the fact that you are already in a state of doing nothing to have everything. And what I mean by do nothing is that you do not have to think about on a daily basis the things that you get up and do every single day, that your mind is thinking every single day. You don't have to do anything for that to be occurring. And the reason why has to do with, I love to bring up a statistic that not Neville Goddard, but Joe Dispenza talks about, and you have to look him up. But one of the things he says is that human beings process 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And out of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts, 90% of what you are thinking the very next day are the exact same thoughts as the day before. Why is that happening? That's happening because ever since you were a little child, you have been being programmed, so to speak. So whatever was going on in your immediate experience, your parents, your television, things that were being said around you, all kinds of stuff was happening, and you were getting verbal and nonverbal cues as to what you were going to decide was important, what wasn't important, what should I be paying attention to, what do I believe, what do I not believe, what do I think I need to do to protect myself. All of these things you were doing ever since you were a child, and because of that, you no longer have to do anything. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to consciously think about it anymore, but your actions every single day are the result of what it was that you now believe. Now, I also want to talk about the fact that because you're on this channel and because you desire to be consciously aware and because something's been happening, and I'll tell you what that something's been happening. Perhaps there's been a discomfort that has been happening with you where what once was okay is no longer okay. What once was true is no longer your truth. And you're seeking to identify and now become consciously aware of, what do I actually think in order for this to be taking place? Because we know what it is that we think and believe by what is going on around us, by the things that we participate in, by what our thoughts are about money, by who we'll talk to, who we won't talk to. All of these things are happening by way of our current belief system, something that we do not have to think about. This is why your current state of being, the state of being you're in, that you perhaps were not consciously aware of all this time, but you've been abiding in that state. You've been able to abide in the state, and that state has become you. And you did it without having to do a thing. There's nothing you have to do to be consciously aware of that state of being. But you can bring your consciousness. You can become aware of what your state of being is currently by virtue of starting to pay attention. That's it. Just by virtue of starting to pay attention and starting to make new decisions based on where you are now. So I just wanted to stop by and say that you're already doing that nothing. That nothing is you abiding in the state of being that you are in currently, that is causing you. So even if you get up and go to work every single day and you feel like you're going out and you're laboring to do what you're doing, that's the state of being you have been in and you have been accepting of all this time. And perhaps, and that's just an example, that is the state of being that comes natural for you to do, because that is the state of being that you're in. If you were in a different state of being, you would be doing something else. And what I don't just mean that you're I believe this, I believe whatever, because we all say that we believe things. However, if you're not abiding in the state, that is the reflection of whether or not you actually believe something or not. Your ability to abide in the state of being. And you don't have to believe then. You don't have to believe a thing. If you're abiding in the state, then you're in the state, and that doesn't require a belief about anything. Which is how I know that currently we are in this state of doing nothing. We're not doing a darn thing to be able to live the lives that we're living, because it has become a habitual state of being that we're in. So I just wanted to stop by and share that with you. And I'm going to reread this powerful quote before we go. You want something. Yes, you do. You want something. And the thing that will fertilize it is your own wonderful human imagination. Those thoughts that Joseph Dispenza says that we are thinking about every single day, 60 to 70,000 thoughts we are processing every single day without conscious awareness of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts. And out of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts, 90% of what we're thinking the very next day are the exact same thing as the day before. So why not become consciously aware of your thoughts? And why not go into a state of being of what you desire, what you actually want, what you actually desire, and fertilize it, as Neville's talking about. So when you know exactly what you want, occupy it. Occupy it. I find one of the great fallacies of the world is perpetual construction, deferred occupancy. Perpetually beginning to think about something and don't do anything about it. Perpetually wanting something, don't do anything about it. Don't go into the state of being, because it's not just something you want to do about it. You want to go into the state of being as if your desire has already been fulfilled. So it's not just anything that you're going to do. You're going to go into the state. And that's what's going to cause you to be able to not have to do anything. And one more thing. I heard somebody say, and I think it's brilliant. The doer doing the doing is only as effective as the state of being of the doer doing the doing. So if you're not in a state of being, then your doing is not effective. Anyway, we know what we want, but we leave it out there and hope that the passing of time will make it. It won't. And you've already been collecting the data on this for years. So you don't need anybody to confirm that what's being said is true. You're already your own source of data collection. So I'll read that line again. We know what we want, but we leave it out there and hope that the passing of time will make it. It won't. I have to occupy it and make there here. I make then now and dwell in it just as though it were true. Thank you. That's my share today. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with somebody you love. And I'll see you on the next video.